That's the Tea, hosted by Zyra.
And Mary Lee. So, Zara,
Hooray!
what do you have to drink today for today's episode number 6?
It's because not we've episode 6. That's a lot now, so I need like a strong drink. Bitch, I got a cut water. I don't know what it is. All I know is alcohol and it's strong, and I'm gonna be asleep
Bitch,
tonight.
this is water because I am still sick. That's why I'm breathing like this. My asthma's all inflamed. It's almost, but
My name is
water.
Lily.
So, Zyra's gonna take the lead on today's episode, and I'll just kind of be here. Nah, I'll be here too, like
No,
doing shit,
she's
but
not feeling good, you guys, so.
yeah, sorry,
Me
guys.
sick. But today's episode, girl, I know we're only 23 and 24, but we've worked some jobs.
Yes, sir.
So I
Yeah, we
feel like
have.
we should just talk about all the jobs, not all of them, but talk about the jobs we have had.
Okay.
Okay, so like everyone knows, obviously we met through work. Like if we didn't work at CJ's, I don't actually no, I don't I take that back. You were friends with my cousin, so I feel like even if we didn't work at CJ's,
Okay,
we would have
but
still
I
been friends.
wasn't, no, but I went to school with her, but I didn't become friends with her until CJ's
Mm-hmm.
because, bitch, I only knew her because Rafa's was friends with her boyfriend at the time.
Oh yeah.
Other than
Mhm.
that, I would have never met her.
But
Swear.
you know what? We we still would have been friends if it wasn't
Yeah,
for
the
CJ's.
universe
Bitch,
works in weird
how
ways.
many jobs have you even had that you can
I
remember?
let's just say I have a lot where I have to kind of pick and choose what jobs I put on my resume. I swear. Because obviously you're not gonna list. They tell you if you have more than like 5 jobs on your resume, don't do that. You shouldn't put more than 5 or it looks terrible.
I think I put 4. No, I
Yeah.
put 3.
Yeah. Because they want it, but then they'll ask you, so what did you do for this time? And then I'll be like, I was finding myself.
Okay, you know what? That's true because
So,
me and you laugh about how we've had so many jobs. It's just because I was like a teenager, like going to school too at the time. Like I did not know what I wanted to be doing. So like that's why I feel like I hopped through so many jobs at the time.
dude, same. The high school jobs that I had were rough. And I was a fucking pendeja, dude. I don't know why I thought from being a sophomore to a senior all the way through, I thought I could have 2 jobs the whole way. And it just murdered me because it may not look like it now, but I was a sportsy bitch. I did a lot of
Oh
sports
yeah, she was
too.
a softball girly.
I did softball and swim. So I was like always like I had to be the first one at school to swim, and then I stayed the latest after school to play softball, and then I'd go to work.
Yeah, girl. All I
Yeah,
know is work is hard. I just wish I
bitch.
was a rich stay-at-home mom.
I wish I had a sugar daddy.
For real. Hey, if you know any sugar dad, I'm just joking.
When application submitted below.
No. Well, Lee, how did you like working with me? What was your experience working with me? And I'll let you know what my experience was working with you.
Okay, you guys. So don't judge me, but I am the type of person who's like, all right, if my friends tell me to take the day off, I will do it. I will take the day off. If they're like, yeah, do it. So when Zyra, I would do this to all the new hires, and Zyra can vouch for me, and she'll tell her side of the story. And don't look at me wrong, anybody, okay?
Girl, no,
Because
I'm looking at you so fucking wrong, bitch. No.
I okay, we had this group chat on Snapchat for all the people that would work there. And then there were some people that weren't allowed on there because they were creeps. Remember that
Mm-hmm.
weird guy? I'm not gonna say his name because his sister is really cool, but his her brother was like a fucking creep. I'll tell you after the
Was
show.
it, I feel like I think I know who you're talking
And
about.
this motherfucker was charging me for drinks when I first got there. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he tipped me out in quarters. Oh, the
Oh,
nerve.
oh,
Okay.
now, okay, now I know. Now I
Yes.
know.
Yes. Okay, so whatever. But so we had this group chat and Zyra was on there and I thought I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it sideways. I'm gonna do it like just me and her texting. I was like, hey dude, can you please do me a solid because I noticed you have barely little shifts. Would you like to take mine? She's like, she read it and she didn't respond for a while. She was typing and I was like, this fucking bitch ain't gonna take it. And it was last minute though. I was about to be there. I had to be in like 4 hours. So then Zyra finally was like, yeah,
No, girl,
thanks.
your story is so different. Well, this
That's how
one,
I saw it.
no, yeah, that's how you fucking saw it. So every time this bitch would Snapchat me, I knew because we weren't really that close anyways at the time.
Mhm.
Anytime I would see Mary Lee typing, it was because the bitch wanted her shift covered. I probably covered half of Lee's shifts. Like,
Yeah.
that's why we became friends because literally any shift anyone needed covered, I would cover it. Not, and that's because I was still new and everything, but the bitch, I would cover the girl shifts all the
Dude, she would
time.
work doubles. Like doubles, which is like where you're opening and then you close.
Like, oh my God, I think everyone who works at Caesars, literally, like, once you're there, you're literally like a fucking machine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even because anyone's telling you. It's just kind of like because
You just
Kathy,
kind
our
of,
boss, and Glenn, they were just so amazing that when you work there, you kind of just felt like you had to do more than you should have just because they were amazing people.
she had the biggest heart. She still does. I still text her. Like
Me too.
she's like
She'll like
like an
comment.
aunt to me. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll like comment on Ashton stuff, or she'll like so. Oh, Kathy, if you're watching this, we love you.
She's
Glenn
great.
too,
I love
we
you,
love
Kathy.
you.
Please don't judge me for the way I was at work. I'm
Please
sorry.
don't judge us because now we have to talk when we barely worked with each other.
But it was because they wouldn't schedule us together because we would fuck around too much.
We would talk
And
too
that's
much.
stupid. That's
There
stupid.
was one shift that is like engraved in the back of my mind, and we always talk about it. But Lee, being the smart little cookie that she is, she was up in the register doing her little register thing. And then she's like, Zara, come here. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that lady has been sitting in her car for a good minute and she's not coming out. She's like, I don't know if she wants to eat or like she wants us to fucking go take her food to her car. Lee was looking at a lady's reflection in the door and thought it was someone waiting. And the lady was sitting in the booth right there.
I'm kidding. You did it with a reflection.
So, based off that story, you should know how the rest of our shifts went. Like, I remember one time we were being so loud, Kathy had to ask me to quiet down, and that was like the first time she ever like was told me to do something like that. She's like, hey, can you just quiet down? I'm like, oh my God, do I need to
Dude.
like shut up a little bit?
And I actually have some videos and pictures of me and Zyra and some other people that I'll blur up their face, or I'll even text them and see if I can add this picture on there.
Yeah,
But
maybe we'll just ask them.
I'm for sure going to post this with this video, like clips of it, 'cause it's just like that time was a vibe. It was a vibe. But what was your take on it?
Oh, sorry, did my phone just glitched for a second? It literally turned black. Could you still see
Uh,
me?
yeah, I'm talking to RoboCop over here is what it sounded like.
That scared me. The ghost from last podcast came, bitch.
Bitch, don't say that I'm alone.
No, because it literally my screen just turned black. It scared me. I didn't hear
That's funny.
anything you said. What did you say?
What is your take on working with me?
I love you, but I cannot work with you. Why is it doing that? Can you see me?
Yeah,
Okay, sorry guys, we have a ghost.
well, you see you great, and you just look like this. You're like,
It's because my screen goes black and I can't see you. Sorry. All right,
but
back to the
we've worked
podcast.
to two jobs together so far, though.
But I loved working with you. It's just I love you. I love you to death. But when it came to like working at CJ's, I had a very, very, very hard time like not messing around with you and
Same,
then working, you know?
same.
Because everything was funny. Like, say some fool came in with some like chanclas, like I would
Oh shit.
want to tell Lee, like, look at his toes.
Or we would just cap on the customers, dude. And some of the people we were working with, I'm like, you see that bitch not holding the drinks right?
I know what the heck.
Swear. All right, bitch. What's your next question? Or what's your next topic?
Next question. Oh yeah, so we've both worked with our significant others. How do you feel about working with your significant other?
So I worked with him for my first job ever in the history of Mary Lee. Okay, so it was my first job
Really? So
ever.
your first job was with Rafa? That's not good at
It,
all.
it, it was my first job, but mind you, me and my dude have been rolling hard for 8 years. Okay, so when I first started working there, we weren't dating; we were just friends. Because at the time, we were like just friends, seriously, just great friends. He got me the job because he had some family that worked there. I'm not getting in detail because I don't know if he wants to share his side of it, but so we worked there and it was great, but I think people started to catch on when we started to date. It was
Mm.
uncomfortable and everybody associated us as two instead of individuals, and I did not like that. And I got in trouble a lot, and then they would make us work on different days. So on our days off, whenever I had a day off, he had to work, and then whenever he had a day off, I had to work. So it was like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked there, and I also worked at Subway during that time period. Bitch, I was a sandwich artist.
Bitch,
Yes, I
I
said
did not
sandwich.
know you worked at Subway. Why
Yes,
am
we
I
worked at
hearing this for
Subway.
the first time ever?
Yeah, bitch, I worked at Subway, and I quit that job so fucking fast. It was a fucking, I was like the fucking Flash. You saw me in there
Wait,
one
why'd you
week
work
and I
there
was
just because
gone.
Rafa was there?
At Subway?
Yeah.
Bitch, I worked there because I needed extra cash. No, no, I worked at McDonald's with Rafa.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
worked at
where.
McDonald's. Then I worked at Subway, which was right across from McDonald's. So what my ass used to do is I would have my schedule 5 minutes apart. So I had 5 minutes to get ready and run across the outlets. I had to run all the way from the bottom of the outlets in 5 cities to the very top in fucking like 3 minutes while getting changed. And if I was late, Subway would be like, oh, I'm like, well, bitch, I had to fucking run my big
What
ass.
the heck, Lee?
Yeah, and I would do that all the time. And then finally, like, I just was like, all right, I'm gonna stick to McDonald's, and I stuck that one through until 2017. So I
Oh
started
my
there in
goodness.
2015.
So what you're saying is never work with your boyfriend.
Don't work with your boyfriend unless you really need to, which sometimes it kind of works out because the way my job is right now.
Oh, true. Bitch, why did I forget you work with Rafa again?
Yeah, I'm kind of like his boss now.
No, but that one, that's because that's finally like, I feel like we had jobs that weren't like big girl jobs when we worked with our significant other.
Yeah.
That's why, like, to me, like, I found it hard just because we were working at a restaurant and it was just like, I don't know, like, I'm
Well,
jealous.
that's how
I'm a
you met
jealous
your
ass
man.
bitch.
Dude, one of these days, I'm gonna ask Zyra and you guys will get the tea on her relationship with her man, how they met. And I'm gonna ask him when he's on here because I want to get like their side of the story.
No,
But
yeah. I would say working with my boyfriend was definitely a very big part in everyone's lives.
yeah,
I had
I'll
fun
leave it at
though.
that.
I had a lot of fun. Like at one point we did because at first like no one knew we were dating, but then they kind of caught on. So like once they caught on we were dating, that's when Kathy would never put us like I never had a
Wow.
working shift with them ever again. Once like so how it started was I remember we were just hanging out a lot, and then one day we went to CJ's together, and Selena, shout out to Selena, she's like leaning on the table, and she's like, "Is that your boyfriend?"
I think it's because everybody knew, but we didn't want to ask you because we were like, I don't know if it's true. And I knew,
Yeah,
but I had to play tonta. I was like, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. And our friend group at the time didn't want to rat you out either. So we're like, we don't
yeah.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me, I would say sometimes I'm like, nah, he's my roommate. I just live with him.
We're like, what? Or she'd be like, oh no, he just gives me rides. She would say that shit all the time. I'm like, girl, you've been sitting in this car for 12 minutes before you got in.
Oh, that's the one thing I would get. That was like the plus because when I first worked at Cedars, I didn't have a car. Like I would share a car with my mom, and then Me being a stupid teen, I crashed that shit and it stopped working. Don't do stupid stuff, you guys, and crash your parents' cars. It was on accident, but like,
Bitch, I never, I
moral
never
of the
could.
story is, unless you have a big girl job, don't work with your boyfriend.
Seriously, seriously. Learn it
No,
from
for
us.
real. Bitch, okay, next question. I really want to know what you're gonna say. How do you think, because when we worked at restaurants and we were talking about this, we
Mm,
never were servers, even though we were going to make it up to servers. Like once we hit that level, we're kind of
we
like
left immediately.
what was it like being a host?
Okay. For our restaurant specifically, because this was the only restaurant I worked at. Zyra, she knows restaurants. She's worked in restaurants, multiple different ones, different eateries. I've only done like the old school diner type of vibe. And the hosts there, they work, bitch. Let me just tell you, like RuPaul says, work,
Mm-hmm.
bitch, because the hosts sat people, gave them their drinks, also helped the servers make milkshakes, do all this other thing, make all the desserts. And then sometimes the phone would be ringing for the to goes and the host answers.
Yep.
Okay. Then if it's an early morning shift, which the fucking ones I always got stuck with because I couldn't work at night because the motherfucking high schoolers pissed me the fuck off. So then the older fucking viejitas would work in the morning and be like, help me carry the bag of, or the plate of sausages. And I'm like, bitch, I don't get paid enough for this. And if I didn't help them, you know what the fucking they would do? They would tip you
Hmm.
like shit. They would tip you like shit if you had a bad attitude or you weren't helping out enough. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, bitch, the fuck? I'm getting paid way less than you. I'm not getting half of the tips that you motherfuckers get. Like, bitch. So
It's
that's
just,
my experience.
well, I feel like it
What's
probably
yours?
depends on, sorry, probably depends on where you're working at, but like most, I feel like, and we're probably gonna get hate, but I really don't care. Most servers, I mean, most hosts, they get treated like if host is like the bottom of the freaking like
That and
pyramid, whatever you say.
dishwashers.
Like, I don't know, and it like it's right, like you're saying, like the first thing you see is when you go into CJ's was the host. Like a host greets you, a host seats you, a host gets your drinks, a host gets your plates, a host cleans your table,
Yeah,
a host sets that table again for like a host literally,
they do a
not saying like
lot.
we run the place, but like we do play a very big part in the restaurant industry. But then just like that title of a host, like it's not a good title.
It's not very validating. And then,
Hmm.
but you've worked in other restaurants. Have all your hosting jobs been like that?
I don't know because I want to say like at the Chinese place, I was just a host, but then like I served food as well. Like I would run to the kitchen, get the plates and run them back.
What
I
about that
don't know.
Mexican restaurant in Paso?
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say all the hosts, no matter where you work at, if you're a host, you're gonna get treated like shit. Like, remember when I called you one time and I was working at that Mexican restaurant? I was already like
In
7
Colorado or
months pregnant
Paso?
at the time. Like, fucking no, more. It was like I was 8 months pregnant, and this one guy literally was screaming at my face over a freaking reservation because
Where
that
was
that
this at?
place in Colorado.
Oh, okay, I was like,
Yeah,
wait, I'm
he
trying to.
freaking,
This bitch has
because
been
how
all
it
over the
went was
world.
like, huh?
I said, this bitch has been over the world. That's why I'm like, where the fuck is she talking
I
about?
know, don't. That's a whole different podcast, bitch. That's a whole different
Seriously.
podcast. One podcast, bitch, I'm gonna be like a freaking roast where I sit down and you just let me. So, Zyra, tell me why you did this.
No, we'll get canceled right away. I
Oh my god, it has to be our
swear.
next one because that would be so funny.
My God, bitch,
I was
that's
gonna
funny.
say, see, even though I've been around the freaking world and I've worked in different restaurants around the world, you still get treated the same. Literally still get treated the same. I got yelled at in the face when I was like 8 months pregnant, and the fool literally was like spitting in my face, yelling at me over a freaking reservation.
Bitch, that could never be me. I don't
Uh-uh.
understand. Like, if you're that fucking hungry, go to fucking McDonald's.
Go eat at home at that point.
Seriously. I
Go
think
make
it's
yourself freaking quesadilla and sit your ass down. Because that's what the fool ordered, a freaking quesadilla.
bro, it just I get it. Waiting and waiting and waiting sucks. But it's like, fool, if you're choosing to eat at night, you're gonna have to wait. And I
Exactly.
can't tell you. Like, I know for sure when I was a host, I used to be a little bit like I wouldn't like mentiras a little and I would lie to them and be like, oh, I will say this, I've done this. And I
Mhm.
know I hope you have done too, because I feel like I would be bad. I would a little bit like exaggerate, be like, oh, it's gonna be an hour wait. If they were giving me a bad attitude, I'd be like, it's gonna be an hour. And they'd be like, and then the person behind me be like, it's only like 5 minutes. I'm like, no, it's an hour.
No, I can't do that because I get scared that they're gonna tell the boss and they're gonna be like, that little girl over there said that. Like, no.
But dude, okay, I have a question for you.
Huh.
What is the worst? I'm not talking about maybe the quesadilla, man. I'm talking about the worst customer experience you have ever experienced. The top one. Give me just one, Mija. One.
Bitch, okay, you know what? I don't like I now that you asked me that question, I haven't my experiences working at a restaurant industry like with customers, I've never had like anyone be mean to me. It's more like they kind of just crossed the line with me. Like that one customer, remember when I don't know if you were there, but how he put his hands on me, he caressed me
Oh
like
yeah.
this while I was cleaning a booth and I was he would but he did it from my behind.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like when I've had work, thank God I don't work in a restaurant anymore, but every time I've worked at a restaurant, I've had really experiences like that. Like I've never really had only that one guy who's yelled at me in Colorado, but other than that, like I get weirdos. Like I don't get rude people. Like I get weirdos. And that was the one thing, like, yeah, I'm working at a restaurant, but just because I'm working at a restaurant doesn't mean that like we're low lives, like treat me with respect. Don't and especially like that, like don't go to a restaurant and harass the employees. Like that makes me
Seriously.
never want to work ever again. And maybe that's why
Yeah.
I don't ever want to work ever again.
Bitch. Let me just tell you the worst one ever. It was
Hmm.
at McDonald's. And I wish Rafa was here to like back me up on this because our one of our friends, my close friend, he was working with me in the same window. If you guys have worked in McDonald's or any fast food, you work at windows. You're a cashier at the first window and then you give the food at the second, or vice versa. You give the food at both the first window. Okay, we were working the second window where you, and it was nighttime. It was
Mm-hmm.
late at night, and this lady was coming. No, it was super early in the morning, but it was dark. It was like 4:30 in the morning, right when we're opening, and it was 4:30. She comes through and she's like, "Can I please get a large diet Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke, whatever, right? Something diet, bitch. It doesn't matter if you're drinking a diet in the fucking morning. It's not good for you, okay? You shouldn't drink a soda that early." So I'm like giving it to her, and I give it to her. And I'm like, "Hi, have a good morning, thank you." And she like first she hands me the change and she throws it, and I'm like, "Ugh." Have a good one. So I give it to her. She looks at it. She rips off the lid, and I already know because you know when the customer's not leaving the window, they're looking at whatever the fuck you did or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's looking at it like she takes off the lid and she goes, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Didn't you order that?" She's like, "You're telling me I'm gonna drink this with no ice? There's only a little bit of ice." And she grabs the cup, shoom, splashes me in the fucking face. And it is not even 5 in the morning yet, bitch. And I'm drenched with ice cold Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, whatever. And she throws the cup at me to finish it. And I'm just like, I'm bamboozled. I'm bamboozled. I wanted to jump through that window so
Oh
fucking fast
my, I
and
would
just
have
beat
literally
her up.
hopped out of the
Okay.
freaking window like the Dutch bros fucking
Dude.
cut the employee like bitch.
Dude, so my manager and my coworker at the time, she drives off because what she knows she did was she knew it was bad. So she drives off and she stops in the front and then my coworkers go to chase her because I'm like, what the fuck? And I have to work like this for the rest of the day because I can't afford to go home. I need the money. And so I'm smelling like this and she comes back because she drives
She
off.
was
She
just
comes
having a
back.
fucking day.
She comes back like
She
two
fucking
hours
chose you
later.
for violence.
Dude, she comes back 2 hours later and she's like, I want my freaking drink, but she does the F bomb. I want it. Are you gonna give it to me, you little brown girl? Are you not speaking English? I'm like, bitch,
Oh, was she old? Was she older?
no. She was like about, I want to say like she was in like her late 20s, 30s, early 30s. But
But
like,
so she was older than you.
yeah, she was older than me because I was only like 15. 15 or 14. But yeah, dude, that was my crazy story. And I don't know. I don't understand how people could treat other people like that. I just don't.
You know, and that's the thing. And I think we obviously we think of it because we worked at restaurants, but like when I go to a rest and like I told you, we went to this Mexican spot like last month. Service sucked ass. Service was so bad. And like our server was forgetting stuff and all that. And I could tell like she was shaking, the poor thing was shaking. Like every time she would take our order, she would like that she would go, and then I was gonna be mean to her because I first I was being mean because everything was messed up. Like my order came out wrong twice. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a bitch to this girl because she's like messing. But then I thought of it, I'm like, I've had days like that where I like messed up so bad. And
It's just a
I
day.
just wanted someone to ask me if I was okay. And so I just asked her, I was like, girl, are you okay? And she just looked at me, she's like, honestly, no. And she started crying. She literally started crying. I didn't hug her. I asked her and she said no.
Pobrecita.
But like
She was
sometimes
there.
if you're realizing you're being mean to a worker, just ask yourself if you're okay, ask them if they're okay. Like going out to eat shouldn't have to be so stressful.
A little goes a long way, guys.
Yeah, but
Seriously.
that's why luckily now we have different jobs and we don't have to go back to that anymore.
Seriously. Seriously,
Ever.
dude. But
Moral of the
yeah.
story is we've had lots of jobs. We've been there, done that. And
Yeah,
then
so
we've
ask us
been there,
questions.
never doing that again.
I'm never doing fast food again. Fuck that.
Lee. And what was that, Lee?
And that is the tea, guys. But make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to our video, please. It helps a lot.